Hey y'all, welcome back to the channel.
In this episode, we're going to be talking about accountability and if you actually hold yourself accountable or not. So, for me, I think I do a pretty good job about holding myself accountable to my goals, my diet, my program, my training, everything. Not all the time. Sometimes I can actually vary from that and I can kind of lose sight of what I'm going for. Like, for instance, I decided I wanted to start bulking. Right before that happened, I hurt my knee. So I kind of been eating towards a bulk and I haven't really been doing cardio because of my knee and I am gaining weight. But like the whole purpose of this when I started in May was to get my abs by the end of the year, which isn't going to happen. I'm too far out to get my abs and I'm too close to the end of the year. So the only thing I could do is continue with my cut for another 12 weeks and keep myself accountable to my original goal until I hit it, no matter how bad I want to bulk, no matter how bad I want to put more size on. I decided the best thing to do is to keep myself accountable and stick to what it is that I was doing in the first place, which is leaning out to get either my 4-pack or 6-pack 100% visible.
Well, for me, I'd like to say I keep myself accountable, but I really don't. I rely on you a whole lot to actually want to show up and continue pushing. Like tonight, Mondays are always hard because, well, it's Monday. Who wants to do anything on a Monday? And after working all day and stuff, and I didn't really have a day off in the weekend. I did, but I was so busy doing everything else, like prepping all the food, that today I was just tired and I just didn't want to go in there. But guess who made me go in there?
Yep. Yep. I don't know who he was, but he sure was a nice guy to come here and push you to get in the gym.
He was good looking.
Oh, that's good. That's good. No, and yeah, exactly. So I learned over the years that the only way I'm going to have someone to keep me accountable is if I pay someone to keep me accountable, and that's like a trainer or a coach. And I never really had the financial freedom to be able to pay somebody to keep me accountable, like a personal trainer or a coach. And now everything is online, but even still, I think there's a little bit of impersonal, it's more personal when you have a trainer in person. You could go to see them at the gym, or they actually train you in person. They hand you the diets in person. They go over your physique and your posing in person. I think that there's a lot more accountability when you see your trainer because there's no lying. You're getting around it when they see you. But I think if it's online, it's a lot easier to kind of lie to your trainer. Now, don't get me wrong, the people that want it are going to do exactly what they're supposed to do and be honest with their trainer. But I think there's a lot of people out there that will actually use that as a way to kind of get around what they're supposed to be actually doing. And, well, this amount of results will be good enough to keep him happy. But it's like, okay, but you're the one who's paying him and you're the one who contacted him to help you. So why would you lie to him, and why would you try to skate around his programming? You're the one who's paying for it. So it's kind of stupid to do that. So I think that's the reason why a lot of people actually go to paying trainers and coaches. And there's nothing against online coaches. I think that's an amazing deal, and I think that's an amazing way to go about, because you can reach a lot more people than just being at a brick and mortar facility. But like I said, for me, I am flirting with the idea of whenever I actually do start my bodybuilding prep to hire a coach, and more than likely I'll probably go to an online coach just because they're more relatively available. But there are some local gyms here that do have some really amazing coaches that I might actually go see first before I go to the online.
Yeah, and for me, accountability wise, I I guess you've helped me throughout the years, on occasions to stay more accountable and things like that. But again, if I'm not keeping myself accountable, in general, I have a tendency to fade off. So which is why I'm trying to do a lot better this time, and so far I have. But again, it's only the first 12 weeks. We're on our second 12 weeks, but just having more goals and outlooks that I'm looking forward to, trying to make it to the year mark and everything is helping me be more accountable with myself. So I'm not having to rely so much on being pushed by other people. I'm pushing myself more this time around, which is a good thing for me. So as long as I can continue doing that, I think I'm doing pretty good.
Well, yeah, and I think for a lot of people, back to the personal training thing, for me, the reason why it's easy for me to stay accountable is because, y'all see my gym, right? I've invested a lot of money into this garage gym. So if I didn't work out, I know in the beginning I was super fat in the beginning of this channel, but also I was a power lifter. But after I got hurt, everybody that's been watching the channel knows the story. I was like 2 years in and out of the gym, not really into it because I couldn't really train like I wanted to. But now that I can, I'm back into it. But if I didn't keep myself accountable, it's like, how stupid would I be if I spent all this money on this facility, this equipment, this gym, and have this at my disposal whenever I want and not utilize it and be accountable for my actions. So for people that don't have the real estate, the property, or the funds to spend that money on gym equipment, I think those are the people that like benefit to invest in a personal trainer, because it's like, I've spent thousands of dollars on equipment, right? And I know I never had financial freedom to pay a trainer. That's because I could find the knowledge, the information out there on my own. And the money that I would spend on a trainer, I'd rather spend on equipment to be able to train in my own facility when I want to train, the times I want to train, the days I want to train, would know whether it's a Sunday or it's 2 o'clock in the morning or a holiday, Christmas, New Year's. It doesn't matter. I can train whenever I want. It's at my leisure. But for other people, I think spending that money on a personal trainer, it becomes an investment. It's like, okay, I just gave you $1,000 or $500 or $2,000 or whatever it may be for however long the duration of the term is. And now you're financially invested. And a lot of people tighten up whenever there's two things. Either they're going to compete and they tighten up all the holes in their program and their diets because they don't want to look stupid, they want to do their best. Or they start throwing serious money at the issue. And then that's whenever they start kind of like, okay, I need to get serious about this. Because anyone can have a New Year's resolution and join the gym for $30 and then flake out in 2 months and be like, $60, whatever.
Yeah, I mean, I do keep myself accountable in some kind of aspect if you think about it, because you're not around me 24/7. So when you're not home, because like I said, I work from home, so I have a lot more access to eating snacks and doing what I want to do when no one's around to judge me. But I keep myself accountable, and I don't indulge. I stick with my diet, and so in some form, I guess I keep myself accountable. But I'm not going to lie, having you being on the same path that I'm on, and us both training together, keeps me more accountable, because I'm not looking at your food and wanting it because, well, we kind of eat the same thing. So.
Yeah, and again, to touch on that, like, as far as it goes for staying accountable, like, you do keep yourself accountable. Everybody does. Anyone that's on a diet is keeping themselves accountable. If you wake up and you eat at the same time, you eat the same meals, you weigh your meals out, and you're on a diet plan, you're being accountable. If you're going to the gym on the days you're supposed to go, doing the reps, doing the steps, doing the programs, you're being accountable for your actions. For me, that's not the hard part. Like, for me, the hard part is being, like, staying on a path. Because I mentioned this before, like, I used to be a program jumper when I was younger. Like, I would read the magazines. We didn't have YouTube and the internet like it is today. Like, back whenever I was growing up, it was the magazines, Muscle and Fitness, Muscle Development, and then you read the news article or the news magazine, or who the newest guys doing what, how they got big, and grow muscle so fast, or burn fat so fast your abs will pop. And they had all these articles, and you read it, and like, this is the next biggest thing and the next scientific breakthrough. So you start applying those programs and what you read, and then the next month there was a whole new program that's the exact opposite of that one, and so forth and so on and so on. So I program jumped a lot back then, and I never stayed on an actual program until I started powerlifting. Then once I started powerlifting, I kept myself on that program, and the accountability was getting on stage and competing and looking stupid. So I figured out I need to be on a program that works. I figured out the program. I stuck to it. I saw great results. Then from there, it became easier and easier and easier to stick to it. And I was being accountable, because if I stepped on that stage and I didn't perform the way I wanted to perform, and I didn't put the numbers up that I wanted to put up, I would feel like I wasted my time and effort. So it made me a lot more accountable by competing, and it made me stick to what I was doing. So, but now my accountability terms is like, for instance, this whole bulking and cutting thing. I've been torn between two, right? I love powerlifting, I love bulking, but then I can't really do that like I used to do. So the whole goal is to cut weight, get my abs, to be able to get ready to be in shape, to start getting in shape for a bodybuilding show. Because how fat I am right now, realistically, I have a long way to go before I'm even ready to start getting ready for a bodybuilding show. If I start bulking right now, then I go from, according to the skin fold caliber, if I go from 16% to 18%, that's going to put me that much further out from a show to be ready. But if I continue to go from 16% down to 10%, then I bulk from 10 to 12, 13%, then I cut down to 7%. That's a lot more realistic because the time frames, like you could look at the time frames, the fat percentages, and how much weight you have to go. So it's a lot more realistic for me. So my accountability now is sticking to a program and a goal. And the goal is I have to keep myself accountable to continue to lose weight and cut no matter how bad I want to bulk, because it's not the eating that's the problem. It's not the training that's the problem. It's not the hydration. None of that is an issue. Waking up, doing cardio, doing my meals, none of that is an issue for me for having to stay accountable. It's sticking to the course and making sure that I'm on the right path and not getting sidetracked and wanting to start do this program and gain weight or lose weight or whatever in the middle of a program.
Yeah, and like for me too, like I'm still looking at my accountability as well as like just trying to make sure that I continue to lose weight in a relatively decent like manner. Like I don't want to go super overboard and just crash myself out like I did last time. So I'm doing my meals and everything this time in a bit more of a structure that allows me to kind of cut back, and like just being accountable with that, like continuing to make sure that I am going to lose like how I want to and continue coming down in weight, because I have a long road ahead of me for getting to a more manageable size that I'm looking for, sort of thing. And until that time, I have to stay kind of on top of making sure my food and just everything in the workouts and all that stuff is going well, and try to, like yesterday's topic, try to avoid the whole injury thing as well, which could be a big setback. So just, and all of that together, just like that helps with my accountability, just trying to make sure that I stay in an area where I know that I'm going to have all these things taken care of, and it's going to help me get to that end goal, that end look, and just whatever it might be for myself. And I feel like I've accomplished something that I really didn't think I would accomplish or whatever. Like after so long, after 10 plus years of being like that really big guy, like I never really thought back to like, you know what, maybe I can do this sort of thing. And being on this road and journey for it, like I'm feeling a lot better about it at the moment.
Did you have a goal weight? I don't remember.
Like a goal weight?
Yeah, do you have a weight that you're trying to get to or no?
Not particularly like set. I just know like I'm still much bigger than I want to be, so I'm going to continue coming down until I hit that point where I'm like, okay, you know what?
I can move good. I feel good.
Not just that, but just like I feel like I'm good with like cutting the weight or whatever. Now I'll just kind of maintain the size, or just start maybe working more on like building muscle instead of just looking at the cutting the fat sort of side of things.
I gotcha, yeah.
So did you have something you want to say?
Well, I was just going to say, for me, in the accountability, I know he was talking about the food and stuff. For me, it's like I don't want to spend all day Sunday cooking and meal prepping to not eat it. So that's another thing that keeps me accountable, is all the time I spend prepping the meals. Because, I mean, well, usually me and you are a really good team and we help each other. But you've been working the last couple of weekends, so it's kind of been on my own. And then Wednesdays, when it's time to make more meals for you, I'm actually off on Wednesdays, so I usually do it as well. So I just feel like I constantly am meal prepping, and it keeps me more accountable. Like, spending all this time doing it, why wouldn't I eat it?
Yeah, and it also helps having a support system too, because like we help each other out, and I know a lot of people don't have that, but if you have someone there to do it with you and you have a support team, that's also really awesome to have and everything. So and here's the thing too, like it's easy to want to start this up, but then whenever your friends and family are eating like fun foods and you're having to eat what you're eating, it makes it hard to stay accountable if they're encouraging you. Instead of them like, no, stick to your diet, eat your food, stick to it, don't mess up your diet, they're more inclined to be like, you can eat this one time, or you can enjoy yourself, you can have a bite, you can do this. And it makes it even harder to stay accountable if you don't have that support system where they're like, no, stick to your diet, you're doing good, don't break it, keep going. And then to play devil's advocate, they shouldn't have to give up their foods and their life and their fun foods when you're around just because it's harder for you to stick to your diet. Like, this is your choice and your journey, and you decided to do this, so no one else should have to suffer and have to like tippy-toe around you because you're struggling with your diet. This was your choice. So you need to keep yourself accountable and stick to your diet. And then your friends and family need to keep you accountable and call you out if you're messing up. And if they don't call you out and they don't not shame you, but if they don't remind you why you started this and how far you've come, then they're not, I'm not going to say they're not good friends or good families who don't love you, but they're not the people you need to be surrounded by in those times of weakness. You need to be around people that's going to keep you accountable and keep you pushing forward. And if you don't have that support, like I said, that's where that inner strength comes from.
Like I say, to an extent, because they shouldn't try to make you detour off and do something bad. But at the end of the day, it's your journey. You have to hold yourself accountable. You can't rely on someone to push you. I don't think it's someone else's job to push you in the journey that you chose for yourself. I don't think they should try to discourage you to do to continue, but I don't think that they should have to push you at the same time.
Right. Well, that's what I'm saying though. But if you're a person who needs that motivation and you need that push from your friends and family and you ask them to help you and they love you, they should help you. They shouldn't be oh, you could eat it. It's okay. Don't worry about it. Just eat it this one time. You don't have to diet so much is what I'm saying. So we're pretty much saying the same thing, just in a different way. Right. And also, too, accountable, right? If someone was to lose weight and they were to be told, for every pound you lose, I'll give you $1,000. Do you think the majority of people would stick to it?
Yeah.
I just want to know where all my money is because all that weight I lost.
Right. So if it was $1,000, okay, so you have a job, you have to wake up to go to work to make money. So you stay accountable to your job because your job makes you be accountable. You have to show up on time. If not, you get written up. You have to work while you're here. If not, you'll get written up. If you don't show up on time, you leave early, and you don't work, you're going to get fired.
Unless you're Richard.
Right. So you'll get fired. So then if that's the case with your job, if you looked at working out like a job, but instead of getting paid in money, you get paid in years of your life, right? So if there was a way to calculate how many years you would gain on your life or how many years you would lose on your life, keep going the way that you're going versus changing your diet and changing your lifestyle, and you saw how many years you would earn back, would people be more accountable if there was a way to calculate that?
At the same time, I feel like a lot of people know that when their health is at risk, that they should step in. And, no, I'm saying that they think they know, but they just still don't care. So in that aspect, I'm just I think it still just relies on the person because so many people, it's if you just get up and change your attitude and your mindset and you start eating the things you should be eating and doing just a light workout, it could be life and death for you. And some people still won't make that change. Look at the 600-Pound Life show that we used to watch. You were going to die if you don't lose weight, and they still couldn't.
Okay, so back to what I was saying. So you think that if these same people that were hey, you're morbidly obese and you have X amount, maybe 2 years left, and you're going to have a massive coronary heart failure, you're going to have a heart attack. We'll give you $1,000 for every pound you lose. Do you think they would stick to it?
I don't, because I think life is more, worth more than $1,000, and these people still won't. Make that change.
To them it's not, but like I said, to them life may not be worth it, but maybe the money is.
Yeah, they're gonna be $1,000. You know how many Twinkies kids I can buy?
Or maybe they have kids, and maybe they'll start thinking about what their family or what they could do with that money to help their family.
I would like to say yes, but I just don't have that much faith in people.
Right. What about you, Richard? Do you think that people would stick to it if they got paid $1,000 per pound they lost?
Again, it's a good motivation, and push, whatever. But again, if you're not looking at it from an aspect of your health in general, even adding in the money, they might stick to it for a little bit, but they could just get a decent sum of money for losing a little bit of weight, and then go you know what, screw it, I got enough. I made some money, so I'm good now, sort of thing. It's
they lose 1 pound to get their $1,000 to buy their snacks for the next month.
But what if it was $1,000 per pound, but you had to hit a milestone, right? You had to lose 30% of your total weight to access the money. You had to lose a certain amount. You couldn't just lose a pound, get $1,000 and then quit. You would have to you'll get $1,000 per pound if you lose 30% of your total body weight, something like that.
And even then,
do you think they would stick to it?
If that's the case, then no. I think there would be an even slimmer number of people, a smaller grouping of people that would be willing to do it then, because just like you were talking about with those shows, Like, how many people on those shows go on there and they complain about, or like have these things where they talk about these issues and everything else, and even though they're on the show, they signed up for the show and everything like that, and they still don't put forth the effort knowing that this is the whole reason why they're there.
Can I be frank?
Kind of thing.
Can I be honest? And it might come off mean.
No, go ahead. This whole thing is about transparency. Like this whole entire YouTube channel is about being transparent and being genuine, right? It doesn't, like, if you offend someone, you offend someone. Sorry if you get offended, but if you get offended, there's probably a reason why.
So what I was gonna say is, if I would like to say yes again, like I said, but it's like, if they didn't care about themselves enough to not get that way, are they really going to care that much about themselves to get a little bit of money? I just don't see people in that aspect making that change for anything, because if, like I said, their life's at risk, I've watched people eat themselves to death on that show.
Okay, so the 600-pound morbidly obese, we're going to say, what, if we had to put a percent, maybe 10% would do it, 90% wouldn't.
I wouldn't even say that high.
Okay, well,
Because look how many people couldn't even do it to get their surgery for free.
Okay. So what about not the morbidly obese? What about the average Joe? What about the average mom who's like 30, 40 pounds, maybe 60 pounds overweight? She's maybe 190 pounds, 210 pounds, and she wants to be 120 pounds. Do you think that if she was offered $1,000 per pound to get to 120 pounds, but she had to hit 120 pounds and then she would get $1,000 per pound she lost if she hit her goal, would she stick to it? It's the same thing for guys. Would they stick to it?
I would say yes.
No.
I say yes because these people haven't completely let themselves go. And I feel like if they have some kind of, like, little bit of, well, I think it just also matters if they originally want to do this, and regardless,
Okay,
right?
but if they have 210 pounds and they have to go to 120 pounds, that is $90,000. You don't think that they would stick to it for $90,000?
No, I do not. I don't think they would stick to it.
But okay, my big
money is a good pushing factor. It is a real good pushing factor. But the biggest factor is the person itself, the person wanting to do it. Like, you have to be your biggest motivation. If you're not your biggest motivation, then you're not going to stick to it. You're going to go so far, and then once it gets a little bit difficult or hard, you're going to go like, you know what? It's not worth it.
Okay, well, hold on. Okay, so my 600-pound life is a show about drama and watching people fail, right? The whole show is about failure. But on The Biggest Loser, almost every single body that goes on The Biggest Loser, they get $50,000 for hitting the work, from doing the work and then completing their deal. And almost every single body does it for like $50,000. So what do you say about that?
But
But
how
like
many
I
of
said, those people want to lose the weight. These people that are
Right,
on the
but, okay.
600-pound life, they don't want to. It's just like, hey, if you don't even try,
But
you're
I'm not
gonna
talking
die.
about, okay, but I'm not talking about the 600-pound life.
That's what I was saying.
I know. I'm talking about people, the average person that's like, you know what? The New Year's resolution crowd that's like, I'm 60 pounds overweight. I'm 30 pounds overweight. I'm 80 pounds overweight. I'm 20 pounds overweight, regardless of what it is. And I want to lose that weight by this summer or whatever their goal is. If you offer them $1,000 per pound, but they had to hit the goal that they set for themselves, do you think they would hit it?
no?
I think someone like us who have a goal and we're actually trying, yes. I think it'd give us more incentive to keep pushing, like on days where it's hard. But I think they have to, like Richard said, they have to in some form have wanted it on their own. Does that make sense?
Okay, what about people that want to become? Oh, hold on. What about people that want to become bodybuilders? And what if you offered them, but they never had the drive to stick to it long enough to become something? What if you offered them $5,000 per pound of muscle that they gained?
No,
You think they'd stick to it?
I don't.
But they had to hit again a milestone, right? They would have to hit
It's
that.
a lifestyle. It's not just a want. Like, it's a complete lifestyle change. And if you don't really, truly want it, like on your own without money involved, like people want that so bad and they know that they're never even going to reach that goal, but they're still pushing because that's how bad they want it. An average Joe that just like, I want to be a bodybuilder, it's just not going to happen.
Okay, so money. Okay, but
there's a reason though, like why, like as a whole country or whatever, we are one of the most obese countries in the world, if not the most obese country.
because MSG is amazing. It's full of flavor.
But and just like anything, whatever, like you look at the portions of places here compared to portions of other countries or whatever, and our small is their large kind of things. So
Those
like
poor hungry people.
it's it's one of those things that, like I said, like the with taking that many people, just like the number of people here in the U.S. or whatever, and looking at it like that is like, yeah, like I don't think people have the motive. If they're not motivated to do it without money being involved, you can throw money at them and they still will find a reason why
about
they
this?
don't want to do it.
I think people would try, but I don't think very many people would succeed.
Okay, I can see that. So anyway, so what I'm getting at here, the reason why I'm asking, what I'm
You
getting
give
at
me
is
monies?
no.
Oh.
What I'm getting at is the accountability. So if they won't do it for $1,000 to hit their goal, to have all that money released to them, then what could they do to keep themselves accountable? What is something that you think would work for someone? Not the 600-pound, like, I don't care if I die, I'm going to eat this till I die. But I'm talking about the soccer moms, the blue-collar dads, the white-collar office workers, those type of people. Because we've all struggled time to time being accountable. So what do you think would be the number one thing that would keep someone accountable to hit their goals, or at least get as close as they possibly could to hitting their goals without getting discouraged, or being able to push through on those days that they are discouraged to keep going?
I would say a good gym partner, because, like, for instance, whenever I work out with people, them coming, I'm like, there's days I don't want to work out, but I know they're relying on me to work out. So I'm like, shoot, I have to do it. They're on their way. Or I see that they're lifting like 20 pounds more than me, and I'm like, hold up, wait a minute. No, so I'm pushing harder because I want to be stronger than them,
But would that be enough to keep you showing up and
as
accountable?
long as they did.
Okay, so as soon as they failed you, you would just cop out. Then.
That's why I made you my gym partner, because you never not show up. So
yeah, it's addictive. Okay, well, what about you?
Again, it's them, like, they have to find their own reason. Like,
Right,
don't-
but I'm saying for you, what would be your piece of advice, or what do you think would be the number one thing for you, or something that you think would keep you accountable that might be able to help somebody else stay accountable?
It's what's inside.
No. I'm not saying it's what inside. I'm saying some type of thought, some type of goal, some type of image, some type of like manifestation of what you see yourself, like some type of motivational chant, some type of motivational, like what is it that you do personally to keep you accountable, to keep showing up and keep dieting and keep eating your food? What do you think the number one driving factor is for you that might help somebody else out?
Just wanting to reach my goal, like my own goal, something that
Okay, so you have
I put it in my head, like, you know what, like, I've never achieved this, I've never gotten to this point, kind of thing, and like I want to actually see it through. Like, I don't want to look back on it and be like, you know what, I failed again at trying to do this, so I'm pushing forward like more than I did before. Like, I'm putting more focus into it and not relying so much on other people to take care of the issue or whatever. Like before, like, you would cook you would help me out, because you would even cook my food and stuff like that. And sometimes, because I wasn't the one making it, so at times when I was like, you know what, this really doesn't taste good to me today, I'm just not going to eat it because I didn't spend the time making it, whatever. But this time around, like, I'm making my own food. Like, I'm doing that workouts, like all of it. Like, it's all on me. So at this point in time, like, when it doesn't, like, if it doesn't work out for whatever reason, like, I got nothing else to fall back on except for, like, I didn't do what I needed to do.
Okay, so to sum it all up, what you could have said was putting the effort into your meals and taking the time to cook your own food. Because you were so lazy and fat that you even had such a handout as me making your food and prepping them where you don't even have to think about it, and you still found a way to be a fat failure. So is what you're saying is, if you're going to be a fat failure and rely on other people to do your work for you, you're going to continue to be a fat failure. So for you to actually get up and not be a fat, lazy failure, you had to take the initiative to get up and go do it yourself, to start having the drive to be able to stick to it, because now you put your time and your effort and your energy into cooking your food instead of someone else doing it and wasting their time. By you doing it yourself, it motivates you to keep going and stay accountable, because now it's your energy, your time, and your money and your effort that's going into your prep, not someone else's. And that's what keeps you accountable. So that's where you could have started with, and that's where you could have finished with. See what I'm getting at? Okay, so for me,
Those eyes.
so for me, what keeps me accountable is just the fact that I've been doing this so long that I just enjoy it. It's just a part of who I am. It releases my aggression, it releases my anger, it calms me down. It's an emotional mood release for me because whenever I'm physically exhausted, I'm more relaxed. So that's what does it for me. Was that a little rude there? Did I hurt your feelings on that
No,
one?
I'm laughing because y'all both do certain things when it's your turn to talk. Like you do like this whole like pause, swallow, really intense, and Richard's always like, yeah. When he comes in to talk, y'all both do. Like if you look, you can see your space for every time you take a breath because it's like I can't. I don't know if they can even hear it.
No,
like,
I'm pretty sure they can.
because it's so like cool.
Okay, so as far as it goes for my accountability, right? So that's how it is for me now. But the main driving force for my accountability is competing. That's what keeps me straight up going. Like if it isn't for competition and that natural urge to want to outperform somebody else, then my accountability like goes in the toilet, like straight up. Like it's very hard for me to stick to something if I don't have a goal that's going to kind of scare me. Powerlifting, stepping up there on the platform and having 100 people stare at you while you lift, it's nerve wracking. It's adrenaline. It's exciting, and it's like, am I going to be the weakest one there? Am I going to look stupid? Am I going to mess up? What if I get hurt? What if I trip walking up there? What if I stumble? Same thing for bodybuilding. It's scary. It's intimidating. You're going to be up there in a little ta-dun, almost completely naked, with your whole body on display, with literally people judging you and how you look and all the criticism and negativity that they're going to point out about your body and everything that sucks about you. And then you take that negativity and that criticism and you use that to fuel your next workout program to close up all those gaps and come back even better and stronger and more in shape. And that's what drives me. That's what keeps me accountable, is the thought of being judged by others on things that I can perfect and things that I can make better for myself.
I think in some aspect I kind of keep you accountable too, because you have these like things, like you have an obsessive personality when it comes to something that you want. You obsess and obsess and obsess until you reach that. But like I said, you were wanting to drift off and wanting to start bulking, and I reminded you, I was like, do you not remember the goal you had? Let's get back on track to that, because you do that. Like you don't see what you're wanting as fast as you would like sometimes, and it makes, like you said, you were a routine hopper, and you kind of were starting to stray back into that aspect, and I had to tell you, like, no, like this is what you wanted. Keep going for what you wanted.
Yeah, you made me reel it back in and dial it back in and stuff like that, because I started kind of like looking around and exploring other options, and you made me reel it back in and be like, hey, check yourself because you're about to wreck yourself.
But my thing is like, I've never had to keep you accountable to workout. I just had to keep you accountable for the goal that you set. Like you weren't receiving that goal that you wanted as fast. Not that saying that you weren't going to get that goal, but it wasn't as fast as you'd like. So you started kind of wanting to go for something different. I'm like, hey, hold on. Like, let's do what you want at this time. Like, let's not, you've even said it yourself. There's been so many times you'd get so close to having your abs, and then you're like, and then you would go and do something different.
Yep, that's true. I've done that many times. So this time, like I said,
You're welcome.
Yeah, thank you. To stay accountable to be on that. So this one's actually running kind of long. We're at 33 minutes. So
oh, sorry guys. Real quick, one thing I was gonna say about accountability for me, besides like relying on you because I'm not that needy, is my health, because I'm seeing a difference in myself. I'm not so tired. And I have more energy, and I'm not as bloated. Still fat, but not as fat. So,
there you go.
I'm getting there.
Yeah, I think we all are, especially Richard, man. If you go back and look at some of the beginning videos with you in it, holy moly, dude. Like, you have lost so much weight. It is such a dramatic difference, man. Like, you are so much smaller than what you used to be when you started. We watched one of the rock crawling videos, the off-roading videos today when you were recording, and you're like just a glorious potato.
Yeah.
Like on the the rock crawling channel, like what the Hummer video, or whatever, being the orange shirt. Is the Hummer?
Yeah, it was a Hummer. Yeah,
oh, yeah, me
it was
and
a Hummer
orange
video.
No, we're talking about one
shirt,
that's like
man.
just from a couple months ago. Like,
yeah, the one from June. You're still looking like a
But yeah,
potato.
even then, like I was like 290, but but in the orange shirt back then, whatever, it was like 320 or so, 320, 330.
Yeah,
I remember so.
yeah, you're juicy, man. You're full figured. So, but yeah, I think this is a pretty good one. I think I'm going to end it here unless you guys had anything else y'all want to add to it.
Just tell us what keeps you accountable. I'm just curious what keeps y'all accountable.
Yeah, if y'all make it this far in the video, let us know what keeps you guys accountable because, you know, the more we share, the more we care, right? So, but all right, well, that's going to be it for me on this one. We appreciate you guys watching. If you made it this far in the video, we appreciate it if you go ahead and leave a like. And if you have made it this far in the video, let's be honest, if you've been watching and you're not subscribed yet, you probably should just go ahead and hit that subscribe button. And if you don't want to do either one of it, then don't do it. It's as simple as that.
Subscribe button.
Subscribe. Yeah, someone actually called me out on the way I pronounce things sometimes. Like whenever I say screw, they say, "Oh, that's a screw," like shrew.
So you guys subscribe, okay?
Yeah, subscribe and screw. Apparently, he says I didn't know there's a new way to pronounce screw because the way that I say
Getting
it.
off topic, but
Yeah.
subscribe.
Subscribe, guys. That's a long rant just to say subscribe.
Oh my god, you still did it.
That's just the way I talk. Okay. All right. Till next time, guys.
Bye.
Later.